Time management is the first thing that you need to start a business podcast. I say that very literally. Most people quit podcasts not because the work is hard. They ultimately quit because they can't manage time. So let me explain how important time is for your business podcast and the simple thing that you need to do before you do literally anything else for your business podcast. As we get started here, I will clarify for you that this sounds incredibly easy, but trust me, it's not. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to block off 1 hour of your work week that is consistently booked and stays that way. If that is 1 p.m. on a Tuesday, it's 1 p.m. on a Tuesday. If it's 3 o'clock on Friday, then it's 3 o'clock Friday every single week, all the time, no questions asked. But you need to commit 1 hour every single week that does not move to work on your show. Because this is an ongoing effort. Whether you're doing the show in seasons, which is something that we're very big on at SBX, we talk about doing 10-episode seasons when you're first getting started, or you're doing a weekly show, or some other variation beyond that. If you are not dedicating 1 hour to this podcast, really what it means is you're not dedicating an hour to your own marketing for your own business every single week. And if you're talking about being a business owner, it feels a lot worse at that point, doesn't it? Like, oh no, I don't have time for my marketing. I'm going to take a lunch call instead, or whatever it is. Like, you need to make sure that you are constantly working on your marketing. Your podcast is the avenue to do that. And it's a great way to do it because you can get so much out of a single piece of content. You need to commit to the time. And what happens is typically when people first get started, they're committed to that 1 hour, but then they do start to drift and they are taking those meetings, or they do decide that, oh, let's push it to Tuesday or whatever it is. And eventually the show starts to see negative impacts, which means your marketing is now not running the way that it should. Podcasts are a long haul. That is just the simple fact of the matter. This is a long building, long running thing. The market is crowded. The competition for attention is only getting worse, right? There's more and more people. There's more and more ways to generate higher volumes of content. That is part of the value of podcasts, but you're competing against other shows that do it well. So you need to make sure that you are consistently dedicating that hour. You need to set that boundary and build the habit. And once you do, it will make things so much easier because it becomes automatic. For me, I get up in the morning. I get up at 6:15, do all the basic stuff, brushing my teeth, whatever, get dressed. I go for a walk for 50 minutes. After I do that, I come home. I make a smoothie. I do this really every single day. I'm not kidding. I'm an addict. I have a smoothie every single day. And then after that, I get myself together and I go work. And when I get to work, from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I have that blocked off every single day. And that's for me to read a book about business, to plan things that are coming up in my day, to clear out junk from my inbox, and get ready for everything else that I'm going to do through the rest of the day. I control that first hour. I control my mornings. I have my routine. I have that time locked in, and I build everything else on top of that. So this is not just something that's going to help you with your business marketing. It's going to help you as a business owner, as somebody who's actively managing all of these different things. The more you control your clock, the easier it is to manage everything else you have going on. So I say all of this because, again, I'm living it, right? Like, I'm an entrepreneur. I know what this is like. I've been through it. I've been with a lot of different podcasts, and I know that it's hard. I've made mistakes. I've changed times. I've been inconsistent. And then eventually, after trying and trying again, because if I lost track, I made sure I got back on track, I've continued to build the habit. So this is really important. And it's so important that it is literally step 1 in our free guide, which is 9 steps to launch your roadmap for starting a business podcast. And that is a free PDF that we have for you. So whether you're watching on YouTube, you're listening on Apple or Spotify or some other podcast platform, you just saw a clip on Instagram. This is available to you. It's in the show notes. There's a link there. It's in our bio. Whatever it is, you can find it. 9 steps to launch. You will see time management as the first thing in that process. So whether your show's active or you're just trying to get it started, make sure you reserve your time. So with that, thanks for listening to It's Not Just Talking. Make sure to subscribe. Thanks for listening to It's Not Just Talking. Make sure to subscribe wherever you're checking out the podcast. And if you want us to help on your podcast, go to sbxproductions.com or check the show notes to book an appointment.